right, guys, today's lesson is all about a subject that so many golfers struggle with. I'm here at the links at Stono Ferry. I'm the director of instruction at this beautiful facility. I'm so incredibly blessed to be here. We're about 18 miles west of downtown Charleston, so if you want to visit, I can't think of a better city to visit, and I can't think of a better facility. I do a lot of full and half day immersions. We take a deep dive, we make it sticky, we make those changes sticky, so when you leave here you're a heck of a lot better than when you arrive. So check out that information in the description for many of you that have asked how do you work with me in person. So when it comes to hand path, a lot of people that are coming down are really struggling with this. The whole objective here is to understand the role of the arms in the golf swing. They might very much control the vertical motion. All right, most golfers don't have this sharp descending motion with their arms. Their inclination is more out and away from them, whether it be in the transition or whether it be through the golf ball. If you're stuck underneath the plane, this is going to be just as helpful. So it's important to understand the arms need to remain underneath the shoulders, whether it be in the transition or through impact. If we can do that, we're going to be a heck of a lot more consistent. I've got a little station set up here, about a 45-degree angle. Just grab an alignment rod, stick it in the ground. I always use a head cover here, not really wanting to pierce my hand on to the alignment rod as I change direction. So use a 3-wood head cover or a hybrid head cover. I've also got a little 2x4 set up here, making sure that you're not hitting right at this end for obvious reasons, because you can have good hand path, but you can still have your swing plane. The direction the club head is traveling can be incorrect. My hands can be in here, my club can be stuck underneath, or it can be too far to the outside. So you can see here, I've got this pretty much above the golf ball. So I'm not only going to be good with my hand path, I'm also going to be good with my swing plane. It's a twofer, okay, when it comes to this station. So pay attention to how this thing is set up. If you have any questions, of course, just go ahead and shoot me a comment. I always get back to everyone. So what we want to do here is understand, I think, the role of the trail arm in the golf swing, the role of the trail wrist. As a right-handed golfer, that's obviously my right wrist and arm, and the objective here is to make sure, first and foremost, you have permission to have good hand path. Okay, if your club face is incredibly closed, all right, too closed, which is kind of in the minority of golfers that I work with, I would say, you're going to be forced to swing your hands and path too far out to the right to try and prevent a hook. Right, very closed club face, we tend to push our path too far to the right, so you really don't have permission to keep your hands and arms underneath your shoulders. Conversely, if your club face is wide open, that's the majority of people that are watching this video, whether it be early in the swing, maybe it's late in the swing, maybe it's in the transition. If your face is open, you're going to be forced, of course, to spin back to the golf ball to try and keep it on the golf course. Your shots are going to want to go out to the right, so you're going to be forced to come over the top of it, right? So we pin and spin, and of course the hand path looks something like this. So the club face really is what controls or allows the hand path to be correct, and we're going to address that. Okay, very, very important to understand the trail wrist hinges back onto the lower arm here. All right, we don't roll the club away, that's first and foremost. So had a tremendous amount of success with the feeling of the trail palm actually pointing somewhat down in the move away. Okay, so we start to hinge the golf club a little bit more this way rather than straight up and down, and then all of a sudden we start to manage the position of the club face. We start to move the toe of the club forward. We start to orient the club face a little bit more towards the spine. I can't think of a better checkpoint than this one right here, and you can see if I can get a little bit of a hinge back towards the arm, it also moves the lead wrist into a little flatter position. Most of you with your lead wrist, you're getting it very, very cupped, and the face, of course, gets very, very open as a result. So you can use your trail hand, guys, to control the position of your face on its delivery, right? I mean, that's really what I need you to understand. So the trail wrist hinges back on itself. Right in here, you can see my hands kind of trace my toe line. Can you see that? It goes back pretty much straight down my toe line. But what I'm doing, again, I'm hinging the wrist back on itself here. I feel like my trail palm is pointing a little bit more down towards the ground. So I've created some angle here early. I've created a little leverage early. We don't want to drag the golf club away and get the trail palm pointing at the sky in this position here. That face is open. You're going to be in a lot of trouble if you do that. The next thing we want to do is we want to fold the lower arm. Okay, so we're going to hinge and then we're going to start to fold. Okay, we're creating a little box here. Essentially, we're creating some good arm structure as we take the golf club back. You see, I'm going to create a box here between my upper arm, my lower arm, and the golf club, essentially creating what I would call an L to the side of you when lead arm is parallel. So now I'm creating some sort of verticals in my backswing, right? I'm starting to get that club working up, and then I can start to unpack it and work it a little bit more down, okay? That downward inclination is supposed to coming out, all right? So we're going to go ahead and hinge, and then we're going to fold, and the last part, of course, is we elevate the upper arm, okay? That's what gives us that really good structure out to the side of us here. Can you see that? So now I've got some really nice angles. My trail palm is now pointing a little bit more at the sky, okay? Where it was pointing down early, it's going to point a little bit more at the sky late, okay? That keeps my trail shoulder rotated a little bit, what we call externally, okay? So we don't have this going on, which is a huge problem in golf. So I've looked at some videos on hand path. They're not really talking about the club face, right? They just say, oh, you want to have your hands in here, you want to really feel like your hands are close to your body and you're going to be just fine. Well, that's really not the case. As I mentioned, you're excessively closed, right? You're going to go this way too much. If you're excessively open, you're going to go this way too much. You know your swing's probably better than most. You're just trying to figure out how to get it from point A to point B. It doesn't matter how much curve you have on the golf ball, right? So manage your club face first, all right? We're going to go ahead and do a couple drills, all right? So here we are with the backswing. There's my elevation. Now the trick here, I'm going to do what's called a pump drill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lower my arms without lowering my club head. All right, and there's a lot of confusion on how to create lag in the golf swing. You create lag in the golf swing by maintaining less tension in your shoulders and upper arms. I can't tell you how many times I see this lunging motion back to the golf ball, what we call pinning and spinning, okay? That leaves the lead arm too adducted, too far behind the body, and then we're forced to release early. So the beauty of keeping your upper arms and your shoulders relaxed is you can start to allow your arms to work down, not the club head. Start to work your arms down. Look at my trail arm, how it's going to start to de-elevate. Where it elevated back, it's going to de-elevate down. And then I'm going to start to get some of that vertical inclination with my hand path, which is what I'm really looking for. So remember, when the hands work down sharply rather than out, you're going to be in the minority of golfers. All right, most golfers are spinning, all right, as they start down. So now my arms work down as I pivot. Of course, you can see here as I turn back to the golf ball, that also brings my arms forward. So those of you that have wondered how to get more forward shaft lean, how to move your low point forward, there's a direct relationship between the arms dropping and the arms moving forward. If your arms don't drop, remember they stay behind the body, and you're going to have this look where your lead arm and shaft is on the same plane, 18 inches to 2 feet behind the golf ball. If you've wondered how to have this look where you're getting more travel out of the grip, you're getting a longer commute, all right, and more pressure against the back of the grip, the responsibility, I'm sorry, it belongs to the arms. There's no question the body's involved, but your body can only move your arms so far, all right? They're going to stall, you're going to release early. So by focusing on allowing those arms to work down, guys, as your upper body stays back, it's going to be transformational for very, very many of you. There's no question. Certainly people that come and work with me, this is with a game changer, all right? So we're addressing our club face early, as I mentioned. Don't want any wide open club faces, guys. Look at that. Okay, my trail palm feels like it's pointing at the sky. That's your green light special. Now you get in this position now. Look, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple pumps. All right, and you're going to see how close my hands are to my body here, and you're going to see my arms remain underneath my shoulder plane. I never want to get my arms outside my shoulders. The arms work under the shoulders. They do not work around them. All right, let's go ahead and hit a couple little ones here. Half speed, half swing, guys, okay? So there's my hinge back on itself, my fold, my elevation, couple pumps, all right? That's setting the intention. You can see how my club is returning back towards my toe line here. My hands really do feel almost like they're coming back into my pocket. All right, and let's go ahead and hit a little one here. Really good there. All right, so I definitely feel, especially I'm doing this drill, it's good for me, my game as well. I really feel like my hands for sure are a lot closer to my body in this part of the golf swing, okay? That's a fantastic feeling if you've not done it before. We can start to get our arms, of course, expanding past the golf ball when we do that. If your arms are further from your body as you change direction, they're expanding too early, essentially, of this look, okay? Rather than this look, when you de-elevate the arms, the club head remains up, your arms work down, okay? If you don't de-elevate your arms stay up, the club head comes down, all right? It's the opposite. For those of you who've been trying to work on creating lag, gotta turn the body and leave, it just doesn't work, okay? So again, look, as I come down, I'm gonna have my contraction here in many respects, and then I can start to expand my arms past the golf ball, get a little longer commute out of the grip. That's what moves your low point forward. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Great little station here. There we go. Good. Go to the top. Upper body stays pointing at my golf bag. Arms drop down. Hands and arms stay under the shoulders. All right. Now I can start to sort of connect my arms to my body as I pivot the golf club. It's a swing sequence, nothing more, nothing less. Pretty straightforward, okay? But club face is really, really important. Really, really good. So I start small. Why do I start small? Proprioception is your mind's ability to feel what your body's doing without using your eyes. If you've ever been to your grandchildren's soccer game, 5 years old, there's nothing cuter. Maybe it's your kid, right, that's learning to play soccer. It's so funny watching these kids, right? They trip up over the ball, they trip up over themselves, they trip up over each other. They're still developing their proprioception, right? Their mind doesn't really know what their arms and legs are doing. There's no real connection. That's how most people really play golf, I'll be honest with you. You don't know whether the club head's over there or over there. You don't know if you're doing this or if you're doing this. One of the reasons you don't know that is you're not swinging at a speed that allows you to feel it. All right, it's very, very important to swing at a speed you can feel. So start small and you start to take ownership of what that golf club is doing. You start to feel, okay, what your hands and arms are doing in your golf swing. You start small, all right, and then you get bigger. I mean, start narrower. Don't start wide, start narrower, making small swings initially, and then just build your speed up from there. I hope that makes sense, okay? It's all about really feeling the golf club and taking ownership of where it is. A lot of the time, in order to gain an inch, we have to travel a mile. I totally get it, right? The exaggeration is really key. But how in the world do I do this over here with no station? I mean, I've got absolutely no way of really holding myself accountable. So if you could set up a station, you know, put an alignment rod in about 45 degrees, stick a head cover in there, just put it just outside your toe line. I can't think of a better way to set up if you're going to practice for 30, 40 minutes constructively. All right. Otherwise, you're really thinking to yourself, I'm working on my golf swing here, but are you really like getting better? I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. So this is like having a coach really on hand. All right. Just set something up like this. It's going to make a world of difference. Okay. So you can see here, if I do this correctly, I'm really starting to feel my arms drop, and then I start to feel my arms straighten as it moves the grip of the golf club forward. That's what moves the golf club forward, okay? This motion here, guys, this is kind of where it's at, okay? And then I allow my body to respond dynamically, all right? I'm allowing my arms to employ my body, all right, on the way through. This isn't about slapping at it with your arms, but ultimately what we want to do here is we want to marry the wrists, the arms, and the body. I mean, what do you think a good golf swing is? That's all it really is at the end of the day, right? All right. Hinge this back on itself. We fold, we elevate. All right. Now we de-elevate, we unfold. All right. And then we unpack the wrists. Simple motion right here. That's all it is. Right here. All right. And then add some body dynamics. I got myself a swing sequence. All right, here we go again. Little drill here, just really doing it slowly. I'm going to go 1, I'm going to go 2, I'm going to go 3. Really get there. All right, so this is effective training. All right, now I'll do the same thing, but I'll do it slowly, and I'm not going to go 1, 2, 3. Kind of put the pieces together here. Do it slowly though. First move away. There we go. Hands feel much more down and closer to my body than normal, I'll be honest with you. I think on occasion I get my arms a little too far away from me early, okay, which can cause some problems. So I hope this makes sense, guys. Remember, arms de-elevate is the same as arms moving forward, okay? Arms stay too high across the chest, we spin. Essentially, we've got this look where we've got the club working down, but we don't have our arms working down. All right, got this look right here. See it all the time. Upper body's spun back to the ball. Huge problems with that. This should hopefully put the pieces together for you, understanding the role of the arms. Vertical motion here, horizontal motion here. That's ultimately how we marry the arms to the body. So if you think this could help, go ahead and share. If you have any comments or questions with your hand path, I'd certainly be happy to get back to you. And again, I always appreciate the support. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you want to come down to beautiful Charleston and spend the day with me, you know how to find me. Check out that description. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.